On to Lifeline. What happens when the place you're living in, which is usually packed with tourists, suddenly empties? Like Bali, like Phuket. What is it like to live with no tourism? And what's happened to these places after the Great Travel Upheaval? So we asked two letter writers to tell us their stories in 3 minutes each. First up, letter from Siem Reap, we have Craig Dodge, Director of Sales and Marketing from the Phare Performing Social Enterprise of Cambodia. So over to you, Craig, to share his letter.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for checking on me yesterday. I really appreciate it. After 35 years in the travel business, I never imagined finding myself in a hotel room for 2 weeks quarantine just for travel. We really took travel for granted, didn't we? The pandemic now for 15 months and counting has stopped tourism to Cambodia, and Siem Reap really depends on it. About 90% of the hotels, restaurants, entertainment venues that you saw when you were here are closed, some of them permanently. Remember when we first started coming here in 2008, the people we met, the drivers, the guides, the hotel staff who offered us their friendship and took us to their villages and welcomed us to their homes. And we got to see a side of Cambodia that maybe many people could never see. Many of those have left and gone back to their villages to help on the farm or to Phnom Penh to look for work because there's just no jobs in Siem Reap. Remember going out to the temples, Angkor Wat and Ta Prohm, and seeing all the people there marveling at the wonder of the world and World Heritage Site. You go out there now and they're empty, virtually empty. You can go to Ta Prohm or you could go to Angkor Wat and look around and not see another person. On a selfish level, that's kind of interesting. It can be very meditative and spiritual. But when I start to think about the people whose lives have been affected, the vendors around the temples who sell food and drink and souvenirs, who have lost their incomes, it's quite sad. I still bike through the Angkor Park, and I'll stop at one of the few vendors who's still open and buy a cold coconut and chat with them. And I marvel at how strong they are, and they're determined, and they're hopeful that this will end soon. Remember going out at night around Old Market and Pub Street, and all the music coming from the bars and restaurants and nightclubs, and the people in the streets kind of with that Mardi Gras feel. That's gone. It's closed. The restaurants and bars are closed. Again, many temporary, but some permanent. And besides being closed, the roads are being repaired around not just Old Market and Pub Street, but around the city. So everything is tore up and they're putting in new drainage. So getting around town can be a challenge, but it's quite exciting to know to wonder what it's going to look like when it's finished. I think it's going to be good for Siem Reap, but at the moment it's really a weird feeling going around town. And remember going out to some entertainment venue at night, like New Cambodian Artist or Phare Circus, to go to Phare Circus before the pandemic. And the big top would be full and the energy overflowing. That's all gone dark, at least for the moment. And the artists have all returned to their hometown. So the evenings are quiet. But one thing I can say for sure, Cambodians are resilient and determined and strong, and Siem Reap will be back. And it's going to be very interesting to see what that looks like. Hope to welcome you back soon.